Today, rest day. And let's see, this would be day 20. We are, man, feeling a little like non-energetic. So today, woke up, was just doing alright. Feeling pretty good, had my coffee, whatnot, ate my first meal. Which was just homemade chicken nuggets, no fries or anything, just air fried chicken nuggets. And then went ahead, decided I was going to go do a little work in the backyard on that pond thing I was working on last summer, fall time. And I guess it'd be summertime for that. Got that. Was working on the waterfall that feeds the upper pond thing. At some point I'll show you guys. I tried time-lapsing it yesterday and it was so windy outside that it kept blowing the tripod over. And my phone went and took a bath inside of one of the lower ponds. So half the time-lapse is just it sitting underwater staring at a leaf. So, because I wasn't paying attention, I had my earbuds in and was cutting a bunch of slate with my circular saw with the ceramic blade on it. So, well, concrete blade. But, anyways, we can just say, that video did not work out. So, basically, deleted that. Now, it's nighttime here. So, had my next two meals. It was just ground beef with 8 ounces of ground beef, quarter cup rice, and 4 ounces of sweet corn. Had that for my next two meals. And then had my protein coffee yesterday morning as well with my chicken nuggets, which put me at 1,500 and something calories. So I was feeling a little snacky. So I went down to the store and grabbed a bag of Big's black pepper sunflower seeds, and for half of a bag it's basically 200 calories. So had half a bag of those and stayed inside the calorie range. This whole week I've stayed right around that 1750 mark. I only did cardio one day and my weight is just kind of chilling. Hasn't really gone up, hasn't really gone down. I'm just kind of floating around 198.5 plus or minus a half pound in the morning time. So that is definitely indicative of having to start doing consistent cardio now. So the 1750 calorie deficit is apparently pretty much maintenance or close to. Which unfortunately super upsetting. So, or if it is in a deficit, it's definitely not very much. But then again, it's been 5 days where I've just kind of been stuck at this, or I guess really 7. So I could also just be in a point of main gaining, so I'm kind of just losing fat and putting on muscle at close to the same rate. So that'll also make the scale stagnant out. I haven't gone ahead and put my watch on to see what it says my skeletal muscle and body fat is. I need to, so I can start tracking that, since the scale is doing funny things. Or should I say, the scale isn't doing anything. So that's where diet and weight is sitting. But as for lifts, we went up on all of our big lifts this week. We went up on our bench press, we went up on our deadlift, we went up on our squats, our overhead press, and some of the accessory work. So I'm actually really excited that the squat has continued to jump up. Before we left on our break, we were able to squat 225 for I think 2 reps is what our top set was. Maybe 3. I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was 2 reps. So, that, when I came back, my first leg day, kind of 135 felt a little rough, but then second leg day did 155, third leg day 175, and now this one we squatted 195 for 5 reps, and we're just kind of making those jumps up. So that feels really good. Since we're doing 95, then 135, and then 175, I think we'll go ahead and try for 215 on the next leg day, but I'm not sure. I think I might still just stay at 195 for the second leg day, and or maybe go 205, split that in half. Probably what I might do. See if we can go up 10 more pounds. But even though I felt like like my spinal erectors were a little engaged during that last set, and my left hamstring and glute kind of got tight again, so we skipped hip thrusts. The next day, like, my legs are sore, but I didn't have any back pain or back soreness. So, I'm pretty sure it was just from the back day before it and doing deadlifts and seated rows that the lower back was just fatigued. So I just felt it working a little harder, even though it really wasn't. So I think that's what that was. I don't know if I'll have to switch my back and bi day and my shoulder day. So that way I have a day in between doing legs and back, since there's deadlifts on my back day or not. I don't know. We're just going to keep chugging along with it until we start hitting failure points. But either way, we've made progress this week. Upcoming week, we're going to look to try to push the bench up another 5 pounds. We'll see if we can add another 10 pounds to the deadlift. See if we could pull 365. 355 felt like a fairly heavy struggle, but still felt good, even though it was a little bit of a struggle. So we'll see. Squats, like I was just saying, probably going to stay 195 unless I maybe do a 10 pound jump and go to 205. And then, let's see. That's kind of it for training. So, let's talk about reps and sets, because it seems like people kind of don't know in general how many reps and sets they should be doing, or when they should be per se increasing weight. So if you're trying to build strength, you're going to kind of work in those lower rep ranges. 6 is like a minimum for the most part, unless you're really doing something powerlifting on a big compound lift, and then you could be at like the 2 to 5 range for your top set, but your sets before that need to be working up in volume, or working down in volume as you're getting towards that. So as the weight goes up, the volume goes down. Now, if you're trying to, per se, bodybuild and just put on mass, you're definitely going to want to shoot for like minimums of 10, but probably that 15 rep range for most movements. If it's a compound lift, heavier lift, 12 reps is about where you're going to want to be. Now, you can do, like, say, 1 warm-up set and then 3 sets of 12 if you're just kind of starting out. And you're just going to slowly work the weight up until you kind of hit like a hard point to where the load is just getting a little too heavy for your strength levels to maintain like those 12 reps. And then what you'll do is you'll just kind of stick at that weight and then just add another set until you work your way up to like 5 sets of 12. And that'll increase your volume, which is going to increase your overall time under tension. It's going to increase how much load you're put under over a longer amount of time, and it's going to help increase more blood flow and pump into those muscles. Now, once you hit that 5 set mark, you're there. Now you got to start working on moving that weight up again. But little jumps at this point in time will make a big difference, like adding 2.5 pounds to a curl or 5 pounds to your bench press, squat, deadlift. Those are big jumps when you're at that high of volume. Now, when you're down in the 5 rep range, say you're doing 5x5 at a given weight, or you're just 5 repping everything and you're just pyramiding up, you can just keep working on pyramiding up until you either reach the strength goal you're trying to hit, or you start to plateau. Once you start to plateau, you're going to go ahead and start adding in sets at the weight you can do 5 reps at, till that weight just starts to feel light, and then you can start pyramiding up again. That's kind of the way I like to approach it, and it always ends up seeming to break my plateaus, and I'm never really stuck at a given working weight for too long, normally a couple weeks at most, especially in like my compounds, because my compound lifts, I'm training to be strong, not really training to put on size with those. All of my accessory stuff, though, I'm training for that big pump and that big size to get, worked on, that big fluffy beach muscle. So that's where that kind of ends up at. So that it's a good way that works for me. May not work for all, but basically anyone I've helped get to a stronger point and work up to more volume, it's worked for them as well. So far it's tried and true. So at least in the, I wouldn't say beginner, but I would definitely go with like intermediate going into more advanced lifting. It's going to be a pretty solid platform to follow. Now, you could get super hyper specific if you're training to compete or something. This is for overall health and fitness. Like, you're trying to lift quite a bit at your body weight while still getting leaner. So you're trying to look the best while move the most amount of weight and doing it naturally. So that is a big key here, is we are natural and still natural, and don't foresee anytime soon in the future not being natural. So, not that I'm against it, just that shit's expensive, and it's a lot of verification on your own part that what you're doing is, one, working, and two, not being detrimental to your health. Because what you got to remember is a lot of people who go on the cycles, it's detrimental because they're taking too much. They've already hit diminishing returns, so they're adding more and more to get less and less. So, and it's basically like that, for everything, whether it's caffeine, gym juice, smoking, drinking, all of it. Like, over time of doing it, you're just going to add more and more and more of it. And that seems to be the path for most. And like anything else, eventually you're going to hit a point where it's bad for you. You're no longer being healthy. So it kind of is what it is. But you have to monitor your blood pressure all the time. You have to monitor your blood sugar. You've got to be monitoring you got to go for blood work like monthly. And that's to make sure your liver function, your kidney function, your thickness in your blood, your metabolic rate, all that stuff. You've got to make sure you're keeping tabs on that. And then if you're having any weird side effects, then you have to start taking more stuff to counteract the sides, because what you are doing isn't good for you. And your body doesn't respond well to it. And that's one of those big things about when you get into that, is some people can tolerate it and their body handles it very well. And others can take it and their body cannot handle it. And sorry, like, you just shouldn't take it. If you have crazy sides to what you're doing, you're probably doing something you shouldn't do, and that's kind of the way it is. Like, if you're lifting so heavy your shoulders hurt or your back hurts, you're doing something wrong. Either your form is wrong or you're just lifting beyond what your body can lift or should be lifting at that point in time. Or you've already hit your genetic limit and your body's like, bruh, like, this is where we stop. This is what we can do. And people tend to not listen to their bodies. So, and I think that's what leads to the unhealthy part of the fitness community. So, but as for us, on the natural route, things are going to obviously take a little longer. It's going to be a little slower. Luckily, so like my current progress is extremely fast, but it's because I was just lifting this weight and heavier in every lift, just a handful of months ago. So some of it's just my central nervous system learning to refire again because I haven't been using it in that way. Some of it is the muscle fibers starting to react again to being commanded to lift and like relearning the form, basically, that muscle memory. So very little of it currently is putting on like new strength and new muscle tissue. Now, have I lost muscle? Yes, 100%. So I'm going to be working on rebuilding that muscle, but my progress at first is going to be extremely fast during, I would say, this first like 30 to 45 days. And then all of a sudden it's going to be very slow and grindy again, to where it's 5 pounds, every 2 weeks or something on the big lifts, 2.5 pounds every 2 to 4 weeks on the accessory stuff. So it takes time. You can't rush through it. So that's kind of what we're looking at here for this upcoming week, is another jump in deadlifts, squats, bench press, overhead press. We might try to jump up 5 more pounds on the dumbbells, see if we can go ahead and knock out a bigger set, or should I say add another set probably to those, and so on. But man, oh man, I am cooking. I've been in here for 58 minutes. I got 2 minutes left. But that is where we're kind of at for this week. I've got to get onto that cardio. We were super good about doing our cardio, twice a day before we left on our vacation. We'd get up in the morning, do 2.5 mile walk. In the evening time after we worked out, we had another 2.5 mile walk, so we were getting in our minimum of 10,000 steps a day. Right now, definitely nowhere near that. So, with that, it is probably another big part of why my deficit is not quite large enough at the moment. So, that'll get buttoned up here. We will tighten up on not doing the cardio. Probably just going to have to do it on the treadmill, though, because, man, it is cold here. That's kind of been the determining factor. Like today, it's cold, raining like crazy, and it's like 30 mile per hour winds. So Dylan's going outside and walking in that. But with that, guys, the sauna is just about done. Knocked out my hour in here. And so with that, make sure you're getting your stuff done, working towards your goals, and most of all, just don't be a lazy fuck.